So, good afternoon. My name is Kelly, and I work with the Office of Admissions. So, I'm going to introduce to you Greg Stahl. So, he is with the Department of Theater, and then one of his students is joining us as well. So, you all are welcome to keep yourself on camera or off. This session is being recorded for future students to see as well. So, you are welcome to take yourself off camera, but you can ask us questions through the chat or live, whatever suits your needs. And then I'm just going to hand it over to Greg right now.
Thanks, Kelly. Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Stahl, the professor of theater and chair of the Department of Theater and Dance. And with me tonight is Riley Salazar. Riley is a junior theater major who's here as well to answer any questions and to help out as well. So you can throw some questions in the chat box and we'll get to them in a few minutes. And also I put my contact information in the chat box, and Riley has put hers as well. So that if you want to write them down, and if you have questions as you go through the process between now and August, we'd be happy to help you and answer any questions you might have. So I'm going to start out by sharing my screen. This is the worst part. Let's see here. Okay, now let me see if I can get a... Okay, how's that? Do you see it? Do you see it, everybody? Good, good. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about the department. Probably go through these slides really quickly so I don't overwhelm you with information. And certainly I want to answer any questions you may have. But welcome, this is the University of Mary Washington, and our public production program is called UMW Theater. We are a liberal arts school. We offer a Bachelor of Arts in Theater. We offer minors in musical theater and arts administration. Many of our students pursue either a double major with another field outside of our department, or some pursue a major with a couple of minors, including musical theater and arts administration. The arts administration minor is offered with the College of Business, and our musical theater minor is offered with the Department of Music and our dance program, which lives in our department as well. So our business is telling stories about the world. It's so important to us that theater artists go into a liberal arts education like Mary Washington. We believe that we want to tell stories about the world, and in order for you to do that authentically, you have to know about the world. And so you come to a school like Mary Washington, and you're going to take classes in a great many disciplines across the campus. And that's important because our stories are about lots of things besides theater. We tell stories about math and science and philosophy and history. We don't tell a lot of stories about theater, but sometimes we do. So we want you to be fully educated. And I think that most working theater artists today will tell you that a liberal arts education is a terrific way to prepare yourself to be in our business. Our major is 60, you can take up to 60 credits in theater. Most of our students specialize, and they specialize in acting or directing or design or technology. But 60 credits is half of your college education. We also start you out from the beginning. So many of you may take a first-year seminar in a content area of our department. We teach first-year seminars in contemporary female playwrights, mechanisms storytelling. It's a live horror on the stage. We teach a first-year seminar in fashion called Finding Fashion. Next year, we are having a debut of several new first-year seminars. Disney's America, which is about Walt Disney and Disney Entertainment, and Irish playwrights. So we would encourage you to look for a first-year seminar in the theater department as a way to get started. So at Mary Washington, we believe the strongest way to learn theater is to make theater. So faculty and students work closely together in collaboration to create theater together. We work side by side with our students in a collaborative way. And our students learn what they're doing in the classroom, and then they apply it in our shops, in our rehearsal rooms, and on our stages. And one of the things you do this is by taking Theater Practicum. Theater Practicum is the 1 credit graded course that you get credit for working on productions, either on the stage, behind the stage, in the rehearsal room, or in front of house in arts administration. And that's very, very important. Getting involved from your first semester is really the most important thing you can do at Mary Washington. Our major program is a core of classes, so you're going to take elective classes in your interests, but you're going to take a foundation in technology, acting, history, literature, design, and professional practices. Then if you want to be say a costume design concentrator, you're going to take further classes in that area: costume construction, patterning, fabric modification, and the like. Our production program is at the core of your major, even though all of that stuff happens outside of your classroom experience. So our concentrations, essentially, even though they're not formalized, are in administration, technology, acting, design, stage management, and musical theater. We have very, very strong concentrations in those areas. Design further breaks down to scenic design, lighting design, and costume design. And technology is both scenic and costume technology. So you can pursue anything you want at Mary Washington and get hands-on professional training doing this work. We have two specialized minors. They are minors in musical theater and arts administration. Those allow you to take all of your elective courses and focus them in a very specific career-oriented, goal-driven minor program. Our students who take these minors tend to be students who are fully prepared to enter the workforce. Both of these are important parts of our program. All of our musical theater students also take classes in dance. They take classes in the vocal studios of the Department of Music. Our musical theater minors have priority in getting private vocal lessons, and we have a very great relationship with the vocal music teachers in the music department. Arts administration students, they take a lot of practical work in our department, but they also take classes in the College of Business. So it's a really, really terrific minor. So when you come to college and you study theater, you really take a step up because we take this very seriously here. Our faculty teach while doing, our students learn by doing, and we put theater production at the very core of our major. We'd love for you to take a look at our archives. Our archives will show you that we have very, very high production values. We have a fantastic production program, highly lauded, and also very well attended by the local community. We tend to do 4 plays a year. We generally do all genres, all periods. We look at this in a 4-year process where we're trying to give students over a 4-year span of time experience in all the major periods and all the major styles, so that they are fully well-rounded when they leave Mary Washington. And that's for our audience too. We want them to get a terrific, well-rounded theater program under their belts. So our program is student-centered. You'll find that all over Mary Washington. You know, we are very focused on students at Mary Washington. All of the faculty they stay here and they get promoted here and they are successful here based on their teaching. And that's important. You will never have a class that's taught by a teaching assistant, always by a faculty member. And that's important. Students are at the center of our program. We have students who sit in on department meetings. We had one this afternoon. Who sit in on department meetings. They voice concerns of students. They represent students in those meetings. They also help us choose our seasons, season to season to season, and we're in the process of doing that right now. And looky there, there's Riley, right there on the screen. Riley was in Ordinary Days, which is actually the last show we produced before COVID. Would have closed a year ago now. So nice to see that. Nice to see that, Riley. Our program has 6 full-time faculty. We have 6 part-time faculty. We have 5 full-time professional staff, people who run our offices and our shops. And we also have one of the largest student employee programs on the campus. We have 34 student employees, students who help us do everything in the scene shop, the costume shop, the electric shop, the box office, and the management office. These are really, really terrific jobs because they are professional work that are resume credits that help you to learn while doing and also get paid. And it's really terrific to have a campus job where you're actually contributing to the success of the theater program. We also have a great number of guest artists who help us with our work. We're so fortunate because we are so close to Washington, D.C., which is a world-class theater city. And we have a lot of people who are active in the Washington community who come and work in our production program and teach our classes. We operate 2 theaters in DuPont Hall. One is Klein Theater, which is a 233-seat proscenium stage, and Studio 115, which is in the first floor of our building, which is a tiny 35-seat-ish black box theater. Klein Theater is our main stage program. Studio Theater is completely run by students. So we have a Studio 115 committee that programs that, and in that space, in a given year, there could be 6 to 8 projects every semester, sometimes even more, 12 projects a semester. And those are stage readings, fully produced plays, anything the students want to do. The faculty act as consultants down there, but it's a fully outfitted theater with systems that are like upstairs, only smaller. Communications, headsets, lighting, sound, paging, all of that, same downstairs. And our students run that completely. So if you have a show that you'd like to propose, you can make an application to the studio committee and you can get support of the studio committee to produce in that space. Now this semester, the studio committee is working virtually and we have 3 productions happening virtually. So studio committee is driving all of our online productions this year. And this semester is particularly busy and they're doing really terrific work. We have a pretty significant facility. We have an off-campus rehearsal space across the street from the university called Wonder Bread Studio. It gets its name because it was a former distribution shop for Hostess brands and Wonder Bread. And so we have a rehearsal studio there, a really terrific space. We also have support spaces in the building, scene shop, a costume shop, an electric shop, a craft and dye lab. We have a 5,000 square foot offsite furniture warehouse. We have an amazing furniture collection, amazing wardrobe collection. We have prop storage, wardrobe storage, management office, and a box office here on site. So we are a pretty significant and sophisticated facility at Mary Washington. The great thing is when you come to school at Mary Washington, every theater class you take will go to the theater in Washington, D.C. And that is significant. We believe that one of the greatest things that you can do as a young theater artist is go see great theater artists do this work. And we are fortunate because there is so much great stuff happening in Washington. And if you take 4 theater classes in a semester, you may go to 4 different productions up in Washington, and that is amazing. And think about that over 8 semesters of your college education, and you're going to have a really terrific vantage of what's happening in the world of professional theater. We teach a pretty significant class in the department called Ideas in Performance, and Ideas Performance is a junior-senior level seminar class. And in that class, our students take on a individual research project for the whole semester. And then as part of that research project, we travel to New York and we spend 10 days in New York. And over that time, they interview working professionals in support of their research project in New York, and we see theater together, and we visit with our alumni together, and we network together. Quite fortunately, last March, before Broadway shut down, our Ideas in Performance was in New York. We saw 16 shows in 10 days. Our class had 180 interviews. And what is really it has turned out to be a very special iteration of Ideas in Performance, because just 3 days after we left New York, Broadway shut down, and many of the shows that we saw will never come back. And we all feel very fortunate about that. And this class it was very interesting because after we left campus because of COVID, we of course continued the semester. Then into the summer, we continued to meet because of the class was so bonded over that experience. And we're coming up with a year anniversary of our trip, and we're going to get together again. So it's a very, very special thing. But what's so significant about Ideas in Performance, there's no other class like it at any other university in the country. And the university helps support this. It is a trip that the university supports through its undergraduate research fund, and it makes what is a really life-changing experience possible for our students. So what's really significant is from your very first day on campus, we want you to start thinking about what happens after you graduate, right? I'm sure right now in your high school career, you're tired of people saying, like, what are you going to do after high school? What are you going to do, right? That only continues when you're in college. They say, well, what are you going to do? Like, especially, what are you going to do with a theater major? What are you going to do when you graduate? Well, we want you to start thinking about it right away. We are serious about training you to go into the professional theater, and that's important. And what the advantage that we have is that we are a smaller program, that we have strong faculty mentoring. And so we can help you to realize your goals while you're here. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of our graduates, recent graduates. So this is Madeline Lecuyer. Madeline is a wig and makeup designer. When she graduated from here, she went immediately into graduate school, which is unusual for many of our students, but she went immediately into the North Carolina School of the Arts, and she did a 3-year program in hair and makeup design, and she learned to become a wig maker. And then from there, she just started her career on Broadway. So she was a wig master in the wig rooms of Frozen, The Great Comet, Aladdin, a great number of Broadway shows. And then she transitioned a bit into film and television. So she was doing The Good Fight and several television shows right before COVID. But she's a significant hair and makeup artist in New York now. This is Tiffany Hazlett Parker. Tiffany's a few years out of college, but Tiffany was, she tried a lot of things in college. She was an actor. She did arts administration. But when she left here, she went to work for the New York Theater Workshop just after it won the Tony for Rent, which we know now is 25 years ago. And she worked at the New York Theater Workshop for a long time, and then she went on to work for some casting directors in New York. And then she transitioned into film and television. And now Tiffany is a producer for television. Her current show is The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She is a really terrific career. I love more than anything going to New York and sitting down and having coffee with Tiffany, and she tells me all the stories about Mrs. Maisel, which is such a beautiful show, and whatever show she's working on, Sex and the City, Nurse Jackie. I love getting the inside scoop from Tiffany. This is Devon Day. Devon Day was one of our stage management students who left here, went to New York, and is now a Broadway stage manager. I do. I have the last thing I saw of Devon's was Hillary Clinton as well. So we have a wonderful stage management program. It's headed by Brandon Prendergast, who is a working equity stage manager. And he really does get our students well trained and get some work when they leave here. This is Anissa Felix. Anissa is just now 8 years out of school. Anissa is a musical theater performer who has 3 Broadway credits already, and she just started her career, and she is also doing a lot of film and television work. I just saw her several months ago on an episode of Pose, which was she's really a significant talent, and is making her way really rapidly in the business. This is Leighton Kuczynski. Leighton is a costume technologist. She essentially is a draper. A draper, for those of you who don't know, is someone who takes the pretty pictures that the costume designer paints and turns them into patterns so that they can be sewn for actors. And Leighton has worked locally. She worked at the National Opera and Washington Opera in Washington and the Shakespeare Theater Company. Then she moved to New York and she started working at the New York City Ballet. And now she works in the costume shop of the Metropolitan Opera. And if you are a costume technologist, there is not any other shop you want to work in, because the Metropolitan Opera, they make garments out of fabrics that cost $600 a yard. It's a significant place. So there she is, and she loves her work. An immensely talented technologist. This is Natalie Joy Johnson. Natalie is a musical theater actor who also has a number of significant Broadway credits. Was in the long-running musical Kinky Boots. Originated the role of Enid in Legally Blonde. She actually got she was first noticed in an off-Broadway production of Bear the Musical. Some of you may know Bear the Musical. It's a teeny tiny little high school musical. I love telling this story is that when Natalie was in Bear, I hadn't seen it yet. I got on a plane to travel to Iowa for my mother's, I think it was her 75th birthday. I got on the plane, I had my New York Times, and I was just sitting in the New York Times. I opened up the New York Times, and I immediately fell to Natalie's name. It was a review of Bear, and she had the most astounding call out in the review of the New York Times. And I was sitting in the plane, I was like, I can't believe this. I'm like sitting in this plane, I'm reading this review, and it's about Natalie, my student. And I wanted to tell the whole plane, but I couldn't. Natalie, of course, is on hiatus due to COVID, but what you need to be on the lookout, because she has a significant role in an upcoming musical called Lempicka, a musical about the artist, and she has been workshopping it for several years. It had a great tryout at the Williamstown Theater Festival. Was supposed to be at the San Diego, or at La Jolla this past fall in San Diego, but of course was postponed. Now they're thinking that they're going to bring it directly to Broadway when Broadway reopens. That show stars Eden Espinosa, for those of you who follow musical theater, and of course our own Natalie Joy Johnson. And this is Jess Johnson, Jess Johnson Diva. She is another one of our stage management students who then transitioned her career into producing, and so she is now the production manager at Northern Stage in Vermont. She was also living in New York, having a really great career, and she went to Vermont to do a summer theater show, and she fell in love with Vermont, and she said, I want to live here. I don't want to live in New York anymore. And so she moved to Vermont, and she's the production manager. And the great thing is, one of our graduates of last year, so many of our graduates are, they're not yet employed fully where they want to be, but one of our graduates, Rachel Williams, just joined the staff of Northern Stage in the development department. So we have now two graduates there. And this is David Ryan Spry. David is a producer in New York. David is just 13 years out of school, and he works for the John Gore Company, which is a major producer in New York, and runs their Broadway Across America program, which is the touring arm of Broadway. And he is a producer on practically sort of every show on Broadway now. His company has money in it. So David too has really leveraged a nice career. And David is another example of our students at Mary Washington. David, when he was here, was an actor. He was a musical theater performer. He did lighting design for a major stage production. He worked in our management office, and then he went to New York and became a producer. So, that it just shows you that at Mary Washington, you can get experience in a lot of things, and then you can determine what career path you want for yourself. So, as we talk, and, I want to get to your questions, one of the most important things as you look for a school to attend is you've got to go to a school where you can get involved, where you can get experience, and where you can just grow over time. And you also want to go to a school where you're working with faculty and students and staff who are supporting every single dream that you have. And I really think that that happens at Mary Washington. It happens at UMW Theater. And I think it's a really, really terrific destination. So with that, I'll finish. And I'm happy to take any questions that you have, or Riley can take questions from a student perspective. And if you want to unmute and ask, you can do that. Or if you feel better about typing in the chat box, we can do that as well. So here we go. Don't be shy. This is your chance. Who's going to be brave? What's the most unique thing about UMW theater? How about you answer that, Riley?
Yeah. So honestly, oh my gosh, there's so much unique stuff about UMW theater, but the one thing I do really want to talk about is the Black Box Theater, the Studio 115 that Greg kind of touched on. Um, I haven't seen a program like that anywhere else whenever I was looking. I think it's really important because, it's all student run, everything is student directed, all student actors, all student designers, everything about it is student run, and it is so cool to just be able to like get involved like that. It's a very good stepping stone for freshmen, especially if you're too kind of like nervous about auditioning for a main stage. It's a really great way to get involved. We also have a lot of like smaller events that we do throughout the semester. So we do like reading week, which are like student written plays, and we do 24-hour play festival, which is just like 24 hours, like you write a play, cast it, get it all like blocked and everything, and then you just show it. It's like so fun. But I think it's a really, really, really cool thing.
Yeah, and I would second that. I think that the studio program is really significant because it allows our students to actually practice what they're learning in classes in a very independent way, with feedback from the faculty as they want it and solicit it. For me, one of the really unique things about this program is that we collaborate with our students. So you see that Riley referred to me as Greg. In our department, our students call us all by our first names because we believe that we are on this journey together with our students. And so we don't, we want to be at the table with them, and we want to be colleagues with them. And I think that helps, that helps our students to sort of understand it. It elevates their sense of ownership of the program, but it also helps them to understand that they are a part of this. They're not just here to receive things from us, they are here to contribute to the work that we're doing. And I love that. And as a result of that, we end up having very strong relationships with our students that become very strong relationships with our graduates. And so one of the things that's really true about Mary Washington, that, especially in this program, is that when you graduate from here, you don't disappear from here. We hear from you regularly when you leave here. So when you look, when I show you all of those graduates on those slides, so when Natalie was in a recent example. She was in Kinky Boots, and she needed to go to Williamstown to continue her work on Lempicka. And she called me up and she said, I don't know, should I take a leave of absence from Kinky Boots? Like, should I take a leave of absence and go to Lempicka? Lempicka's not a sure thing, but, Kinky Boots is my, blah, blah, and we had this long conversation, and we talked it out. And I ended up saying to her, as I often do in these conversations, that Natalie, you've been in this business a long time. You don't need to talk to me about this. She said, yeah, but I feel like I want to, right? And so what I always tell people is that when you graduate from here, it's not like you disappear. I just have more people sending me emails and calling me up, and that's what's unique for me, and that's the joy. That's the real joy for me, and so that should be something that you should think about. That you're making really lifelong relationships with the faculty who are teaching you, and that's a real privilege and joy on both parts. So a couple of people have talked about theater productions, and do you have to be a major or a minor? You do not. Our auditions are completely open to all students. And then on the other side of the coin, so are our shops and our box offices, our administrative offices. We have this course, Theater Practicum, And theater practicum, anybody can take. And in fact, a lot of people take it and they get general education credit for it. We teach over 100 people every semester in theater practicum, and not all of them are majors. So I would absolutely encourage you to get involved through theater practicum. And certainly, if you want to act, you should just audition. You can audition for any production that we put on. Okay, what other questions do you have?
I have one. My name's Charlotte. I'm just gonna say it. I do. So for next, I guess for when we come in to our like freshman year, I guess for classes, are they gonna be like from our dorm online or are some of them gonna be in person?
Yeah, isn't that what we all want to know?
Right.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what we're planning for the fall, and fingers crossed. We are planning for a face-to-face semester. And right now, we're about half online, kind of. The other half are either hybrid or face-to-face classes in socially distant classrooms right now. So, our classroom that normally seats 47 people now seats 19, I think, something like that. So it's crazy. But after this semester, and I just submitted today the fall schedule to the dean, we are planning that our classes are going to be in person, fully enrolled in regular classrooms. Of course, we're predicting the future, right? And of course, there still may be masking and other precautions in place, but that's it. Now, what's even more important than that, with that, is that we are actually we're planning a regular theater season, and we will announce a regular theater season. And we're doing that in consultation with our COVID implementation team on campus. Like, we are working with them to be sure that we are being smart about this. But we want to get back to work in person, side by side, as all of you do too. So that's it. Now, of course, I can't make any promises, and I know you're not trying to make me make any promises, but that's our goal. That's our goal all over campus. This is the great thing about Mary Washington is that our administration and our president understands that there are some disciplines on campus that are more affected by COVID than others. Theater, music, athletics, studio art, the lab sciences. It is very hard for us to do what we do at a distance. And so his commitment is to getting us back. And so we are actually this semester going to have a hybrid production where we are actually going to be doing an in-person rehearsal and performance sequence of a two-person play that will have live stream performances. We're not going to gather an audience, but the actors are going to work in person. And we're doing that because the COVID implementation team and the president are making an enhanced testing protocol available to our students so that they can do this. So when you look at Mary Washington, know that we are totally committed to that. And you'll find that with all the campuses. I mean, all the campuses is probably going to tell you the same thing. The other thing that's happened on campus is that we've been very successful, I'm knocking on wood, because we were able to finish out the semester as planned last semester without a significant outbreak. And so far, so good this semester because our students are really taking seriously the values and expectations we've asked of them. So I am ever hopeful that you're going to come and you're going to be sitting in classrooms with theater students, and you're going to be going to theater shops and rehearsals, and it's going to be a more recognizable normal. I want that for us so desperately. Okay, what else?
You said you do around like 4 shows a year, right? So, is there like a certain number of those that would be like musicals, or how does that normally work?
Well, that's a great question. I was trying to get through those slides, but that's really significant. So we generally do one musical a year. sometimes 2. Last year we did 2. We were going to do 2 this year again, but next year I think we will do 1 musical. We always do a major period piece, a style piece, so a Shakespeare or a Moliere or a Restoration comedy. We do a Shakespeare about every other year. And then what's spattered in between are any number of contemporary plays, comedies, American realism, just anything. So you're always going to see a musical. You're always going to see a major period play. You'll see a Shakespeare about every other year. And then you'll probably see a comedy, just anything else that fits in there. And that's upstairs. And then downstairs, anything goes. They could do absolutely anything. So someone's asked about improv classes or clubs. We teach improv every now and then, not very often, but we have a very active improv club. Are you a part of it, Riley?
No, but Tommy is, so I know a lot about it.
Yeah, so the Improv Club, and you just add anything here. The Improv Club is very, very, very active on campus. It's called Undeniably Adjacent, I think. Is that the name of the Improv Club? And they are a traditional improv club, and has, they're very serious about it. They do shows a couple of times a year, more informal things throughout the semester, and would be happy to have you as a member. How that works at Mary Washington is once each semester, especially in the fall, there's a major event called the Club Carnival. You go to this Club Carnival, and every club on campus, just hundreds of them it seems, sets up a table, and you walk around and they'll recruit you. And before you're done with Club Carnival, you will have more commitments than you could possibly fulfill. And then you have to think, oh, I'm also here to go to college. And I have to, I just can't do all of these clubs. But you can get all the information you want at that Club Carnival. Theater-related clubs. So we don't really have any theater clubs in the department because we're so focused on production and so I sort of think about that. When you think about theater clubs, you're talking about communities, and so we're a pretty large department in terms of numbers of students involved, and then each part of the department is its own little community apart from the larger community. So if you're, for instance, someone who works in the scene shop, you develop a community with those folks. If you're in a cast, of course you have a community with the cast. If you're part of the Studio 115 committee, or you work regularly in Studio 115, you develop a community with those folks. So we don't have a club in theater, mostly because our students don't have time for a club. But within that, there are really great opportunities for you to make friends and to connect with people. It's so important when you come to college. I'll just give you unsolicited advice here. It's so important that you get involved from the beginning. And I'll tell you, it's harder and harder because all of you are going to come to school with your phone, right? Of course you're going to come to school with your iPhone or your Android, and that keeps you connected to the life at home, right? So it keeps you connected to all of your high school friends who are at Tech and CNU and JMU. And you may sit in your room and you may just be having conversations with those people. So it's harder and harder for you to step out of your room and get involved. But I'll tell you, the sooner you're involved in theater, the quicker you're going to develop a sense of belonging here and a sense of community. And as soon as you can relax into this community, your grades are going to be better. You're just going to feel like this is home. And so we do everything we can to get you involved from the very first semester. Some schools you're looking at won't. Some schools will say that they don't want you involved until your second year. And there are great reasons for that. We're exactly the opposite. We want to see you in the theater from the very first week you're here. It's so important to us. That's just how we do things. And being a part of a community is a big part of that. So just know that you're going to be pushed and pushed and pushed to get out of your rooms and meet people and get involved here at Mary Washington. What else?
I guess I kind of just have a general kind of college question. How do we, I can't tell if this is correct or not, but I saw on the website that you can arrange like a visit to the campus. Is that still a thing that's happening?
Yes, you can still come visit campus. So we still have tours and information sessions Monday through Friday, 2 times a day, and then on most Saturdays. Sometimes it can depend on weather. Like we actually have had to cancel probably 2 or 3 over the past few weeks just because of snow related issues. But other than that, yes, we are still open. We have things capped to make sure that we're following all the correct procedures for dealing with COVID. But yes, you are welcome to come to campus.
Yeah, and what I would tell you is if you can come to campus and you arrange for your information session and your tour with admission, then you get in touch with me or get in touch with Riley, and you tell us when you're going to be on campus. And then Riley actually gives tours to students, and we will show you around our facility and talk to you about our program. Um, and so we can do that all in one day, and we would love to do that. We have far few visitors, of course, this year, but we are completely set up to do that as well. And I think it's important. It's, of course, you understand that this is not. This is not a it's not a usual year. So, even I sometimes come to this building, I think, where are all the people? Where are they? Where are they? And so it is strange to me, but you can get a real sense of the people that are here and sort of what this place is like. I am I am I am touched regularly about um, by our students and their terrific spirit this year and their terrific commitment and their sort of their their um, their discipline towards the work under these adverse conditions. And we want to share all of that with you. That's who we are. I mean, that is absolutely who we are. And even though this is a strange year for us, for you, for everybody, for the world, um, um, we would love to show you our home and talk to you about it. So, a question about the arts administration minor. Yeah, that's a really really terrific minor. Because of the way that our industry has changed, there are so many jobs in arts administration today. So many, and it is such an extraordinary career path for our students. Um, and so the minor is a really easily accomplished minor with any major. Um, and you take essentially your foundation courses in theater. So you take 2 courses in theater, they're arts administration courses. You take 2 courses in the College of Business, and then you accumulate a series of hands-on experiences, either through practicum or internship, that are arts administration related, and that comprises the minor. Um, and then, hopefully, one summer, you'll do an internship somewhere in arts administration, and then you will be poised to either do a professional internship when you graduate from college, or to go into the workforce. We we can, our arts administration minors do very well immediately graduating from college because there are a lot of entry level jobs there. We're also going to have a great advancement next year. We're changing our ticketing platform. So, and this will mean very little to you, but if you come to Mary Washington and you study arts administration, it will mean a lot to you. We are adopting a platform called Tessitura, and Tessitura is the CRM and ticketing platform used by the leading arts organizations really throughout the world. Um, and we are adopting that as of the fall. We're in the transition now. And our arts administration students who have experience on Tessitura, they're going to be at the head of the line for jobs wherever they apply, because the database that's used is used in fundraising and marketing and ticketing. And so if you have tessitory experience, you're going to be ahead of the game. And so we're very, very serious about this job thing. your parents will be glad about that, I'm sure. One day you'll be glad about it too. But it is important to us that you start thinking about making a living in this business. And this can be a very hard business to make a living in. Ask right now. We have a lot of people who aren't making a living doing it, but we're very serious about it. And as you can tell from our alumni, we propel them forward, and that's important. Other questions, even college questions. Kelly's here from admissions, and she can talk to you about the next steps, and also answer any questions that you may have about moving forward, because we'd love to give you whatever you need in order to take the next step with us.
It's okay if you don't, but I know somebody at Charlotte, you were asking about visiting campus. So in addition to on-campus visits, I know some people aren't able to make it to campus. So we do have virtual information sessions, virtual tours with our actual tour guides. So they'll kind of walk you through campus, show you some pictures and videos of what life is like here. And then additionally, we also do just have chats with some of our tour guides as well. And so you can register for those right on our website, just like you registered for this evening's event as well. And I do see another question just popped up, Greg.
Oh, do you know what productions you have planned for next year? Well, we're not there yet. It's still a secret. In fact, we haven't decided. We will be announcing that probably in 2 weeks. We're ever hopeful that we can announce what the productions are. It's high on our agenda to get that done. It's important to you about getting excited to come to college. It's important to us. It's important to our students. Our students are, so that's the good too. And to tag on to Kelly is that we are also very happy to do some virtual talks with you. If you want to talk a little bit more with us, I can arrange that with Riley. It could be with me. I also talk with, sometimes parents have questions. Parents have questions about theater and jobs and what college is like for a theater student. And I do a lot of those conversations with parents. And so absolutely reach out to me if you need, you want that. We're happy to do it. So Nicole's asked Riley, what's been your favorite show you've done at UMW?
That's a good question. I think I have two. One was in the studio. It was called Clever Little Lies. And that one was just a lot of fun. I got to eat cheesecake every night and throw it in somebody's face. It was a lot of fun. And then Ordinary Days was probably my favorite show that I've ever done here or anywhere else. We got to work on it not only just in the spring semester, but in the fall. We learned the music over the fall semester, and then we put it in rehearsals in January. And it was just the most transformative theater experience I've ever had. It was absolutely incredible. And getting to work with a cast of just 3 of my closest friends was just the coolest thing in the world.
So Riley, why don't you talk just a little bit about what's the difference about being in rehearsal and doing a play in college versus in high school?
Yeah, so it's so different. It's way more professional is how I would generally describe it. My high school was not very formal with the process or anything. It was kind of just, you show up, and if you're needed, we had really, really big casts for shows that did not need to have big casts. It was just, high school theater. And being here is just, it's very much like performing in a professional theater. You have the stage management is so on top of it. They, take care of you in any way that you need. Working with the director is so much more personal. Being able to work with Greg or whoever your director is, and actually talk about the show and actually talk about what it means and what everything Like it's all so much more in depth and so much more meaningful, I would say. Yeah, that's my experience.
So I'm glad you said that, Riley, because one of the things we do is we model professional practices here. So one of the things that is very different to a lot of students is that you get your rehearsal call every day. Like there's no rehearsal schedule published in advance. So we publish the rehearsal call for the next day by midnight of the day before, and on that rehearsal call, you'll find out whether you have you may have a costume fitting, you may have a vocal session. Um, you may have rehearsal that day, and so that's published every single day. And we rehearse 6 days a week here, and and some long days as well. We generally rehearse 8-hour days on Saturdays, Sundays too sometimes. So it's serious and it's exciting. It's exciting to do it in such a concentrated way. I think it's exciting. For some people, it's like work. Well, it is work. It is work. It's not. It is a lot of work. But all of us do work that sometimes is hard to do. But hopefully we're doing work that's gratifying in the end. So it is something. I encourage you. Riley put the archives link in the chat box. I encourage you to go look. Ordinary Days was deceivingly, it looks very simple, that show, but it was very, very challenging show. 4 people, 1 piano, really very, very challenging. And there's some gorgeous photographs. So you can go see Riley in those photographs. I had a terrific professional lighting designer design that show, and the floor was actually embedded with lights. So the locations were marked by these gorgeous LED lights in the floor. So pretty great. So somebody asked here, how do you balance your schoolwork and theater so you don't get overwhelmed? Riley, that's one for you.
It's hard, I will tell you. We all struggle with it. Really, just like the biggest thing is trying not to, like planning ahead and knowing, I'm only going to take this many credits because I'm going to be in this, or like, oh, I want to like audition for this show, or like I want to be involved with the studio this semester, and then, when things get tough, just like, take a break, try to, we have a lot of resources on campus and like kind of within the department. You can like talk to people about, if you get overwhelmed, and that's a big thing for us, is we try to kind of like help each other and be there for each other, because we know how overwhelming it can get. But just like what I do is I just like plan my week ahead, and that's it. I try to take it week by week, plan out, oh, I have 2 hours here, I'm gonna get this done, and stuff like that. Just kind of really block it out.
Yeah, so our students are very busy, but what's so interesting to me is they have generally overall pretty high GPAs. Sometimes depending on what classes they're taking, maybe not all the time, but you learn how to manage your time. And you get busy, and you have to manage your time in order to get it all done. Of course, you're here to go to school and not just take theater classes and be in plays. So you have to do well in biology, you have to do well in math, you have to do well in history. You just have to. That's what you're here for. And so you learn how to do it, and you learn how to take care of yourselves. And we have campus resources, we have departmental resources. Every now and then we run a Be Well series where we help our students with time management. We even gave them, we had one year we had cooking classes for our students so they could prepare healthy meals. So we're here for you as you make that transition. But I think one of the great things is, you all are theater people, and so theater people are resourceful. Generally, you are good time managers, and college is just one big project in that regard. You will find when you come to college that you probably can't do as many things, because some of you may be right now active in your theater, you may be in the chorus, you may be in the band, like who knows what activities you do, and you can do all of it. So you come to college and you want to be in the chorus, and you want to be in the theater show, and then you decide you want to be in the performing arts club dance group, You can't do it because every single one of us, we think we own you, right? So we own all your time. And that's how it is because our standards of excellence are so high. So our students find that they do fewer things in college, but do them at a higher standard of excellence. And that's life, right? That's life. You learn how to make those choices. But we're here for you to help you. We want to help you if you do feel overwhelmed. And we have resources, all kinds of resources all over campus to help you to manage it. And I think it's really great that you're thinking ahead about that, because thinking ahead about it means that you can develop a plan so you are successful. So that's a terrific question. So we're almost there. So I'll just sort of talk a little bit here. You know, as you move forward and make your decisions about what you're going to do come fall, reach out to us. You know, reach out to admissions. Reach out to us in the department. Let us answer any questions you have. You know, the thing that I always tell students is that. And it's harder for you all because you haven't had as much experiences on the campuses as other students before you may have. But in a lot of ways, choosing a college, you can hardly choose a bad college. In Virginia, we have great colleges and universities, and each one of them is different. So you need to find the school that is right for you. And some of it is just emotional, and it just feels like it's the right place. And that's harder for you all because you don't have as many in-person experiences to go on. But we can give you those. You know, we can spend time with you to help you sort it out. And I'll tell you that I know that universities, you know, all of the theater programs in Virginia are very, very good. We are all very different. We are the right school for the right student. And for some of you, you know, we're not the right school because you're looking for something else. If you're looking for an urban campus experience, that's not Mary Washington. That's not Mary Washington. And it will never be, right? And I will help you sort that out. You know, I can talk to you, and I want you to land where you're going to be the most successful. And I hope you land here. But if this isn't the right school for you, this is not where you need to come, right? But I will help you to sort that out. So call on us if we can help you in the next few weeks to make your decisions, because we would love to help you. Any other questions? Because I think we're almost out of time. Well, thanks everybody. It's been great chatting with you. Certainly send us any questions. Be in touch with us if you need anything from us. Riley and I are absolutely here to help.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. And seriously, if you guys have any questions, you are welcome to reach out to admissions. If you didn't catch Greg or Riley's information, we are happy to pass that out to you guys as well. All right. Well, congratulations again on being offered admission to Mary Washington, and we hope we see you soon, maybe even on campus. All right. Good night.
Good night.